Dude, I don't think Kelsey's seen that picture. I don't think I showed her.
Look at
Oh, that's terrible. That's very skinned.
Oh,
See, he looks naked.
I know. Look at him.
God, how sharp did she get him skinned?
Is that now?
Yeah, he got skinned today. Was that today?
Yeah, it was.
Oh no.
Yeah, let me show you, Jason.
This poor man.
Look how bad that is. He's naked.
Skirt.
He's naked.
Oh my
Yep.
Lord.
Z, would you
So-
say that's an L of a haircut?
It's got to be.
But he looks adorable.
Yeah, look. Yeah,
He looks adorable.
Yeah.
I guess anything with Tito is just perfect.
Z, look how gold his face is, and then look at his
And
body.
his tail is.
Yeah, I know. It's-
Z, he looks like a freaking mole rat.
That looks
thing-
like.
you know the thing is that with Tito is that his hair grows back pretty quickly.
Yeah, but Z, I mean, this is skinned. Like, this is skin.
It's bad. It's bad.
This is skin. Like, if you would go any deeper, you'd start seeing his blood. That's how deeply skinned that photo is.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Well, interesting start to the video here.
Yeah, interesting start. So I started off with me because it looked like your thing was lagging a little bit when you brought up the picture, but then it seemed like it was okay, so I had you back. But ladies and gentlemen, that was Barry, Ferry, Jerry, Derry.
Yep.
That is Dustin, Curtis, JD, Dick,
Keep it going.
Skinhead, Alex Smith,
Keep it going.
Martinez, Elon,
Pedroia.
Pedroia.
Elon. Okay, why did I call him Elon?
Well, no, I called him that because his freaking rocket was shooting out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Call him Musk.
Yeah. Well, that's my dog.
His dog's got 21 nicknames. It's officially 21. Z, I have counted.
Yep. Well, how we doing, Dan? How we doing today?
See, we're feeling fine. It's just a laid back Sunday. That's all it is today. So we're gonna watch Suns game in a few hours. Pirates
big
lost
one.
7 games in a row, which obviously is on them, and hopefully they get it figured out. Start bringing some guys up. Get these guys out of the lineup that are an automatic out. Not freaking just sitting around here twiddling the thumbs, twiddling the fingers.
Yep. Would you like to talk about your your Twitter interactions last couple of days?
No, my Twitter is on the overlay here. So if you guys are interested in my Twitter interactions, you can go on there and check it out for yourself.
Let's just say he's a menace.
Yeah, nice. It's actually was just one thing that I didn't even involve myself in. I commented back to somebody I follow something talking about the Browns, like kind of just that is the typical thing from Cleveland fans year after year. And then somebody who has an IQ of a 5 and is alone and has nothing better to do with his life but to be a troll on Twitter, wants to chime in and put his 2 cents in and ultimately get shut down by me. So simple as that.
Let's just say it ruined Ed's day.
Yeah, it ruined my day. Yesterday wasn't bad. It was a little bit of a busy day. Kelsey and I did a few things yesterday. So it had zero effect on that.
It's good, Em. It's good.
When's the last time you retweeted something?
It's been probably a few months. But it's been a good week. I worked 48 hours this week. I actually been in the gym for 6 straight days, so we're feeling good. Haven't been able to stream just due to my hours working, but next week I'll be working all mornings. So I'll be probably doing 3 or 4 streams next week.
There you go.
Today, my friend Amanda and I went to church this morning, and then Amanda,
Tristan's girlfriend.
right?
You guys went to church this morning.
We went to church this morning,
What
and then what's it called? Like the Holy Family Church or something like that.
Is it the Catholic Church?
Yes, it is.
Well, there it is.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Anne's gonna bring his political views, his religious views into the video, and this is where we get off topic.
Yeah, Kelsey and I went to church Saturday, except it's non-denominational, and it's a recommendation for you, Z. Non-denominational, come as you are. But Z, I'm gonna tell you this: something don't really tell you much. You're loved. So.
Yep. I haven't heard that for a few months.
Oh man, CZ. The
Oh.
thing is that I wore sweatpants on Easter, and it didn't bother me one bit.
That's terrible.
It's really
That's
not.
terrible.
It's really not.
Well, after that, I went to. I don't want to hear any words, but I went to Target.
Yep.
And then after Target, we made breakfast. We went to the gym, and now we're recording video. I'll be doing a stream tonight. It's been a good day. And Optic won. D-backs are up 7-3. We got the Suns on tonight. Big game. Big game.
Yep, it is a big game, and the other game for them. That's what will be the main focal point. What we talk about is the NBA playoffs. We haven't done a video for I don't know, a few weeks. We've done one video. We've only done one video on the NBA playoffs. That was going into the playoffs.
Right.
Now we're at pretty much, I don't know, we could probably say close to the halfway point.
Yeah.
In the NBA playoffs. So Z and I will that will be the main focal point we talk about. But
right.
But Z, that's good. I'm glad that you I'm glad you went to church this morning. So
yep. Yeah, definitely.
I'm glad you did. And you got some things done. Would you say that we're getting on tonight? Yes or no?
Definitely.
Well, there it is. So I've been left undelivered for 13 hours over the last 2 days.
I don't like the evening shifts, and I don't like the evening shifts. So it just kind of is what it is. But next week will be all mornings, which is good.
It is.
It
is.
But
I'll tell you a story real quick. Speaking of basketball, when was this? This was Monday. I refereed, which I've honestly really soured on, and have honestly grown to a place I just don't have fun with it. I don't really like it, but I'm still just going to do it until to the point where I don't really need to do it anymore. But so it was just a stretch of third grade games. Keep in mind, this is third grade basketball.
Yep.
And it was more toward the end of the game, because they can only press with a minute left, like, a full court press Z, and they can only do it with a minute left in the game. And it's not like this game was like necessarily neck and neck or anything. Like, it was still, I don't know, 7-point game. Like, they weren't going to win, but still. So they're pressing, and I'm in the back court. The other ref, Joey, he's on kind of the other side diagonal to me. So it's my responsibility to count to 10 seconds, because they got to get 10 seconds to get up past the court. It's not 8 seconds, it's 10 for the younger kids. So I'm counting as this is going on, doing 1, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, right? Making sure and making sure there's no fouls or anything like that. Don't need to call anything. So the team, I was probably about a second or two away from calling 10, but the team called a timeout just in time, so I gave them a timeout. So Joe and I meet up at the center court, and we're just kind of talking, and we hear somebody from behind us call us NBA refs. and then he was saying something about the 10-second violation, and so Joe turned around and raised his voice saying that I called timeout. So I turned around and I said, "Who's crying over there?" And so he starts waving his hands around, showing that it was him. Some freaking 60-year-old man wearing glasses, just a freaking old boomer that doesn't even know what the 3-point line is. So I walk up to him and I said, "Look," I said, I was about a second or two away from calling 10 seconds. They called a timeout. And I said, "We're here helping these kids down here. Meanwhile, you're right here crying." And there was, pretty big crowd. And I said, "You're right here crying. You're embarrassing yourself, man." And then I turned around and started walking back to the court. And then he said something else. So I shut him up right away. Now, if you're playing at a higher level, like it's like if you're reffing in like high school or higher, like, of course you're not gonna do that. But down there, and Z, what you and I have talked about, there needs to be standards. And that's why down there, like me or other people, like if there's a parent or even a coach or a group of parents that are just way out of hand or insulting referees or anything like that, we're more times than not going to stop and say something, because if you don't, then they're just going to come down every single time and think that it's okay and that they can just get away and say with whatever they want to say.
Yeah. I still don't think that's the right thing to do. I mean, I think
I did. So, and I'm proud of it. I felt really good.
Well, I'd probably do a similar thing, and but at the same time, if it's a coach or something going off, then that's okay, maybe to say that. But because there's some old hag just sitting up in the stands, I mean, and the last thing you should worry about is him telling you how to do your job. Like you don't want to break character as a referee, as an official who's overlooking the game because freaking old man Harold that's sitting up in the stands is telling you how to properly do your job. You don't want to be the one that loses composure. It's fine to talk his head off every once in a while, but like you don't want to build a reputation of like, oh, this guy has a temper, and like if we say something to him, like you simply just gotta block that out, and like you just gotta block it out.
Z, there's a lot of times I do, believe me.
Yeah, well, again, if he has zero impact on the game, he has zero impact on your job, on your influence in life. He does not matter. And the last thing you should do is, if it's a packed house, for you to look at somebody, a fan who's sitting in the stands, and go off on him.
I did, and I felt really good about it, and I wanted to do it because I wasn't going to be reffing too much longer. So
yeah, well,
I'm not reffing over the summer.
Well, and did say pre-show that he doesn't know how much longer he's going to be there.
So it really doesn't bother me when, like, if there's a fan just yelling some out, oh, travel, or like they don't really quite understand the way we referee these games. I don't really care. But if it's at a point where like there's fans continually badgering referees down there, that's what happens, is that they're going to stop the game and confront the fan. They're not going to insult them or anything like that, but they're going to confront the fan. And that's just how it has to be. Like there was a game last week where this one school group of parents are well known for going crazy. And John literally walked up to them and started yelling at them because they were badgering the other team so bad.
And that's fine. That's fine having a supervisor there overlooking this crowd. But the last thing that you two need to worry about is them. Unless they're physically touching you, the last thing you need to worry about is them behind you just talking your ear off. I mean, like you guys don't want to build the reputation of like rebuttaling and just arguing back with them, because it's not going to resolve anything. Because the next week they're going to come there and they're going to do it again, and it might entertain them, and they're going to do it again. So John needs to set in place of somebody overlooking this crowd. As I've already talked about this. I'm not going to go anymore on it. But,
well, Z, that's what we're there for. But the thing is that Joe, who I ref with, has been doing this for years and years and years. And he'll raise his voice sometimes if needed and get fans in their place and stuff like that. But see, I see it differently, where if it's at a point where you have to confront somebody in the crowd and you don't, and that person has also been someone that has either done this over and over, then they're going to continue to keep doing it, rather than if they see what you stand for and that you have the authority to send them out, to kick them out, then okay, that's on them and they're going to be in their rightful place. There's been multiple times where I haven't ref, but I've seen other people have to talk to a fan in the sense of where it was just continual, ongoing throughout the entire thing. And like if it was harassing referees, like Z, you can't just sit there in a 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade basketball game at the Bronson House and just let that slide. That's not the way it goes. There's still got
to be a better way around it. There's I don't think anything's going to change my mind on. There's still got to be a better way around it than the officials of the game having to stop play to talk to the people in the stands. Like that's not the solution.
Z, that happens a lot more than you even probably realize it does everywhere else.
And I mean, how many times do we see in like a March Madness game or like an NBA game?
Z, we're not talking about college or NBA. That's completely different. That's not going to happen there. For youth basketball, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, 4th grade, that happens anywhere that you're going to go.
And I think the thing is that we're not choosing sides here. I just think a lot of people are going to agree with me on the fact that you guys should not be the ones having to stop a game.
Well, we are, and sometimes we have to be.
Well, that's on John.
Well, then it is, but we have to be.
and that's fine, because if they're talking your off, you can't do your job properly. Somebody's got to tell them. But again, it shouldn't be you guys. It should be somebody else. It should be that there should be a constant leader, manager, supervisor on duty at all times when all these people are coming in. If you know you have a game coming in, and you're gonna have a lot of parents and friends and relatives coming in to watch, then John, fucking be there. Be there to overlook this. Because if you want your officials to call the game properly, you can't have them turning around and talking to freaking Harry over here, and then turning back and having to officiate the game.
But see, he can't be there till 9 o'clock every single day.
No, he can't.
So yeah, you have that. But here's the thing about it is that it's not every single game where it happens. There's specific crowds that are known for doing this, doing that with youth basketball and stuff, that he does present himself and make a presence there. It's on the other people that are working or in that role to do that. And sometimes you don't have that. Or there's times where somebody might say something to, hey, go talk to, like an official might say something to somebody working there. Like me, I have no problem. I have thick skin. I have no problem confronting somebody. I'm not scared of confrontation at all. I have no problem kicking somebody out. But officials that, and I'm just going to talk about specifically where I work at, because I can't say for other places, but I know that really ultimately, no matter where you're officiating at, you're going to have this stuff. But in my workplace, either one, if it's something where it's continual badgering throughout the game, it's not like somebody says something here, something there, and then we stop the game. If there's an individual or a group of people that are harassing the other team, that's uncalled for. If there's an individual or other people harassing referees and calling them names, or continually yelling out things that are really uncalled for, something has to be done with that. So if it's either on one of us to, in the middle of a break, walk up to that person, or if it's that bad to the point where we have to stop a game and kick somebody out, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes.
And if it's a harassing thing or safety thing, then again, like, it does matter. Someone has to be there at all times to overlook this. I'm not saying have like a police officer there to watch when someone starts going off, but it's like it's like with like Volcano Bay. Like if it's not a busy day, then why do we need as many leaders here? Because there's not really going to be any incidents that are going to happen. No, like there's still the same amount of leaders and managers at a restaurant, even if it's on a slow day, because something can happen at any time, right? So it applies the same way to the Bronson House, is that maybe it doesn't have to be so much a supervisor, but someone to the same standard as you guys officiating, where they can make the call to properly remove somebody from the premises if they're harassing the referees, another team, anybody else.
Sometimes referees will approach somebody working there saying, okay, like, hey, this is
and that's fine. And that's fine.
But sometimes as officials down there, yeah, we will say something or step in if we have to and do whatever we have to do. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Well,
we're not going back and forth. We're not calling them insults. Now, me, in the sense of what I said to that fan, I primarily did it because I wanted to, and because I wasn't going to referee anymore till the fall, and I have enjoyment out of that. So yeah, I wanted to do that. For all the times I've had to say something to somebody, is either explaining, number one, why a call was made, or number two, telling them and helping them recognize where they're at and that we're not going to be having this going on. And then more times than not, they'll stop. But with this guy in particular, and that's what I told Joe, because he asked me, he's like, did you just tell that guy that he was an embarrassment? and I said, yeah, I did. I said, I told you I was going out. So I wanted to do it, and I don't really care, Z, to be honest with you. I really don't. I'm not reffing at a higher level. I don't have a desire to take officiating to a higher level. But down there, you're either going to have one where you just kind of let certain things go if it's not really that high to extent, or two, if it is high to extent, you're going to have an official step in and either put that person in their place. Like Berger had to kick somebody out the other night because that person was continually just hounding him over and over and over again. That's rightfully justified. Or you're going to have people that will either talk to John if he's there, or somebody there, and say, keep an eye on this group, or if something has to happen, then you got to remove them and stuff like that. For me, in my case, other than what I said all the other times, it was probably mainly coaches I've gotten stuff with and helped and told them, like, in terms of speaking reality to them and why we call what we call, or them saying stuff, and like I've rebutted back with them. But when it comes to fans, a lot of times I will let it go. But if there's someone that's continually just houndering or badgering, if there's really nobody stepping in to say something, then I'll say something and explain whatever it is. But for that instance, it was my last time refereeing till the fall, and I wanted to go out with a bang.
Well, if you guys would like to give your opinion on this, are you kind of on, again, we're not so much arguing about it, but like, whose kind of side are you on? Like, do you agree with me, kind of how I'm with my point of view, or do you agree on and just laying in on the guy? I love to lay in on guys, and that sounds super sus.
Yeah. Well, Z, yeah. we all know that was a reality anyway.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, it's not really a surprising thing to come out of your mouth.
Yeah. Well, I love to go off on people as well, but if you guys want to give us your honest opinion on it, please let us know. But we're going,
and it's not really so that like Z's on one side, I'm on the other. I don't disagree with Z.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, you always need, and that's why, like, when I'm down there and I'm not officiating and something's going on, I don't have a problem approaching a fan. I'm not afraid of that at all, if need be, if somebody asks me or if I need to. But when I do officiate, more times than not, it's coaches I get stuff with. But if there's fans that are saying this or saying that something needs to be done, and you have an official who is able to do that, has the authority to do that, and either escort a fan out or to confront the fan. And then if it continually happens, then okay, goodbye. Or the other option is somebody who works there also comes in and steps in, but you don't always have that. So Z, I'm on your side in the sense of really the general vicinity of what it is. And we both talked about there's got to be standards and there's got to be things for these people coming in. But you know how people even get 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, these parents get freaking rowdy and out of control and want to live through their kid and all this other kind of crap like that. My main thing is that an official does have a right to confront a fan or say whatever needs to be said. Now, if an official's doing something like just giving it just constant like back and forth in that sense or stuff like that, like, okay. But if official is doing where confronting a fan about a call, like if the fan's just continually going on and on, you either have one, if it's reasonable or rightfully so, okay, they have the power to escort that person out. 2, they're able to ask somebody working there, keep an eye on this person, keep an eye on this crowd, or escort out as so. The other thing, the official has the authority to say whatever they want to say, but it's not really a thing where like an official is gonna insult a fan. It's just more so either explaining a call or putting them in their place, and then a lot of times the fan will stop. For me, I want to go out with a bang. I don't care what anybody says. I laughed at it. I thought it was funny. Other people I worked with there or that were there laughed at it, thought it was funny, and I don't really care. And I don't really care. So it doesn't bother me one bit. Z, I slept perfectly fine last night. I'm sure that day that guy's entire afternoon and evening was just revolved thinking about what I said.
Oh, John's business is going downhill.
Yeah. Well, Z, the thing is that it's going to start. they're gonna start building a new building with 2 new gyms.
That's good. Well, shout out to one of the guys I was refereeing yesterday. Unfortunately, someone got severely hurt playing yesterday, and he had to get to get stressed off the field.
Here we go.
So hopefully he's all right. I assume a pretty serious injury because he was screaming Bloody Murray, Bloody murder.
Break a bone?
I don't know. I don't know if he broke his fibula, tibula, whatever the hell it is.
Well, you're next.
Yeah. and keeps constantly putting this bad jinx on me every day before my game.
Yeah. It's actually a joke, and it has been a joke for the last 8 years.
Yep. Well, hopefully I don't dislocate a shoulder or something.
No, it's pretty much Z blowing out a knee. That's pretty much what the joke is. So.
Yeah.
But depending how much longer he plays flag football for, it's definitely a possible thing that happens. So Z, how much longer would you say that you're playing for?
Well, I just want to raise a couple more banners in, and then we'll be good.
Yeah, raise a couple more banners. Yeah. Where do those banners ultimately go, do you think? Like, let's say a flag football team in that league won a championship over a season in the spring, right? Where do you think that banner is today? Let's say that was like 8 years ago. Where do you think that banner is?
Don't know. Don't know.
Where would you say the banner is from when you guys won back last year in the fall is?
Probably in Eric's office.
Yeah, Eric's office. Is there anything you want to say anything about Eric?
Not really. We've actually been playing all the games last week. Tomorrow, knocking on wood, we should be all good for another set of games. So stay tuned for our next episode, and you guys will find out if
Is it supposed to rain tomorrow?
No, it's not.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
but it's definitely possible if it's too sunny, it might get canceled.
But as we were talking about earlier, big game of night. Suns game 4 against the Nuggets.
Yep. Let's transition into it. It was about 15-minute talk on the officiating.
Yep.
Speaking of officiating, thoughts on Scott Foster?
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on that guy. Obviously the Suns went down 0-2, and we were obviously all getting pretty worried, because the fact that Devin Booker has to go God mode, and even Kevin Durant, who's playing, just as well. There just hasn't been enough from the Suns team in general to show that they can beat the Nuggets. They need guys like, obviously, on who I'm about to say, DeAndre Ayton, who's softer than a tissue. Monty Williams, don't know why he loves Landry Shamet. He's ass. And the fact that DeAndre Ayton was benched at the end of the game for Jock Lundell is all you need to know.
Well, it is, and hopefully that's a freaking wake-up call for him.
Yeah.
Do you think it will be?
I think it will be. I think he'll play well tonight.
You freaking better. See, here's the thing with DeAndre Ayton, and Z and I have talked about this. DeAndre Ayton got offered a max contract with the Indiana Pacers in the offseason. And the Suns were at a point where, okay, they didn't have Kevin Durant this time. And they're like, well, the Suns got upset last year by Dallas in the, second round?
Yep.
Second round. Suns were arguably the best team in the NBA last season. So they're thinking to themselves, well, if we lose Ayton, what are we ultimately going to get? So it was really a desperate move by them to match the offer. And Z and I both knew that the Suns were probably going to regret this. And this was way overpay for a guy like DeAndre Ayton, who's not a top 5 center in the NBA, who's honestly just kind of an above average player. That's really what he is. He's not an all-star player. He's not. And does that mean that he can't ever be one? No, of course not. He still has years on his side, and he can still become a certain type of player like that. Yeah. But that's on him.
But the Suns need him. The Suns need him.
Yeah, they do. But Z and I said that, and what I said was that I would have let Ayton walk, and I would have used that money toward another scorer in free agency to pair with Devin Booker and bring in a rim protector on defense. Not somebody that's high end, that needs that has this big contract, a rim protecting type guy. And there's a few names out there that they could have did that they passed on, but they decided to bring Ayton back. Okay, it is what it is. Then they make the trade for Durant. There's a lot of excitement. Durant's injured, doesn't really play a lot during the season when he gets traded for the Suns. But here we are in the playoffs where the Suns, after the Durant trade, I think really everybody knew that their bench was probably going to be a concern because there's not really much there. There's not much size there. There's not much defense there. There's really not much scoring off their bench. Their bench has really been a problem all season long. So with the Durant trade, it kind of set that back and made it worse a little bit. You take away Cam Johnson. Jay Crowder didn't play anyway, but Cam Johnson was kind of a big part of the bench. Cameron Payne was injured. So now come playoff time, as we're seeing the Suns were struggling against Clippers without Kawhi, without Paul George. And a lot of that is because we're just relying so much on Booker or Durant to score the points. Chris Paul doesn't score points. DeAndre Ayton isn't doing what he needs to be doing. And you have guys on the bench, they're playing like Shamet and freaking Ish Wainwright and Jock Strap and that are just, it's just not working.
Bismack.
Bismack. They're not doing anything. They're not rebounding. They're not scoring. They're not adding help from just the bench alone isn't. Terrence Ross isn't playing much. TJ Warren isn't getting any time. Maybe
he did last game though. He did last game.
So maybe Monty, okay, it's time to change a little bit. It's time to find a different balance, maybe.
Yeah.
But with DeAndre Ayton, the big problem is that it's not that he's not a skilled player, but he's not the guy that the Suns are paying the max contract for. I don't really think he's ever really transitioned into being the first overall pick. I don't think Ayton's been a bust of a player, but being the first overall pick, however many years ago, he's never transcended into an all-star caliber player. And now you have him in the playoffs where the Suns need all the defense and rebounding they possibly can get, and Ayton just stands around. He doesn't. He gets overmatched by the other team's bigs. He's not physical, and he's not providing much to help Booker or Durant out. Ayton can score points. Ayton can give you 17 and 10 every night. He's capable of doing that.
Well, but guess what? Jokic's putting up 35 and 18.
Yeah.
You know,
so not just that the Suns don't have anybody to guard him, but honestly, Ayton can do a better job at least than what's been going on in this Denver series in terms of rebounding the ball and post defense.
Yeah. Well,
not saying Ayton's going to stop Jokic, but giving up the amount of when you look at the Suns versus Nuggets in terms of rebounding, like differences, second chance points, offensive rebounds, that's something that's going to get the Suns killed.
Yeah, I mean, just like it kind of did last season. Well, I wouldn't say so much last season because they couldn't defend the perimeter last season against Dallas.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that's so much of an issue this year, having like Josh Okogie, Torrey Craig, like those guys, like they can defend the perimeter. That's fine. But kind of like what you said with Ayton, a lot of people defend him.
Don't know why.
And like I used to. I don't defend him anymore.
Oh, so you used to think he was a top 5 player.
I never said that. But here's the thing with Ayton. And a lot of people will say like so many people call him out when he's playing bad, but make sure make sure you actually acknowledge him when he plays well. And I do. I do. And I realize how important he is to the team. But all you need to know is that one clip from game 1 or game 2, whatever game it was, with him just standing there and watching Kevin Durant battle 2 of the Nuggets players trying to get a rebound. And DeAndre Ayton wasn't doing one thing. Like you're telling me that's passion. Like that's passion to win a championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have a $130 million contract. You're in the second round of the playoffs, and you're just standing there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just really just pathetic. And when I watched that live, I lost so much respect for DeAndre Ayton, where I'm waiting for him to gain it back. You know what I mean? And I know the majority of the fan base is thinking the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Right. So this game tonight, Suns down 2-1, looking to tie. If they tie it, I think the Suns will be favored to win the series, but they're going to need Ayton more than ever because not only to score, but as we know, most importantly, to play on the defensive end. There's been offensive. I mean, the Suns could be on the boards every single game. No one can guard Jokic. Just somebody slow him down. It's the only way for the Suns to win this series. And Ayton is the guy that the Nuggets are gonna go right at because they know he can't rebound. They know he can't defend. And I mean, I'm looking forward to tonight because I want to see how he responds. And if he doesn't respond, just fucking get him out of there.
Would you trade him? If he doesn't respond the rest of the playoffs, would you trade his ass?
In a second.
Yeah.
I don't care what I get for him. In a second, I need him off my team.
Yeah.
Because
you know how much money that would clear?
Because this is the biggest point of your season right now. And if you're paying someone this amount of money and he can't perform the way you need him to, because your power forward is Kevin Durant, who I'm sorry, he's not going to guard Jokic.
No.
He's not nearly athletic as Aaron Gordon. So you need your 7'1" center to play like it.
Yeah.
Guy wears a freaking sleeve up to his elbow. Yeah. So, I mean,
Stoudemire or Agency?
Give me Amari all day.
Yeah, it's not even close.
That's not even close, Ed.
Yeah.
So
Amari would average 24 and 8, 24 and 9.
Yeah.
Maybe 23 and 7. Even with him, he had his rebounding issues and his defensive issues, but still, he's still gonna score for you.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to tonight. I do think the Suns will win tonight to tie the series. This is exactly how championship teams are made. You bounce back from adversity. You're down 2-0. The Warriors did against the Kings, right? You got the home crowd on your side. You're fine. Play your game. You know you can beat the Nuggets. and like I think the Suns will win. For the rest of the series, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm looking forward to this game tonight. I'm going to be watching from the first minute to the last.
Yep.
Transitioning just because I literally just saw it pop up on my phone. Looks like James Harden just hit a game winner for the Sixers. So that means that series tied 2-2. I'm sorry, and but to me, I could really care less about this series.
Me as well.
I haven't watched one game of it. Not disrespecting the Sixers or the Celtics, not saying either one of them can't win the whole thing. But I don't know. It doesn't really interest me too much.
Yeah, I think it could have been better than what it's been.
Yeah. I'll probably watch like the rest of the series because they're tied up. But I guess I don't really want to get into the gist of if one of these two teams will make it to the finals. But who do you think will win this series between the Sixers and Celtics?
It's tough. It's tough. Really is. Both teams are kind of offsetting one another. I think I'm gonna stick with Boston though. Jason Tatum has been kind of a disappointment.
So I actually disagree.
I like to see the Sixers get in over them.
I say the Sixers get it this time because it's just been year after year. I mean, Doc Rivers, who might be the most overrated.
Maybe too. I'll go with the Sixers too, just because I don't trust Boston's coach.
Right, and Doc Rivers, who might be the most overrated coach in NBA history.
No, he probably is, but I'll go. I'll say Sixers win in 7.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I mean, I think it'd be foolish of us not to get into the Lakers, and I mean, I think they keep winning games. They I know they can be inconsistent from time to time, but I mean, and what do you think are their real chances of winning the finals this year?
I think they have a real chance to come out of the West, and the Lakers have probably been going into the playoffs the second half of the season, one of the arguably the best team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a credit to what the Lakers did over the trade deadline, and after they kind of all got acclimated with each other, them being able to play well. D'Angelo Russell's kind of hot and cold. I feel like that's how he's always been.
Yeah, but
luckily, like Anthony Davis and LeBron, even though they missed some time after the All-Star break, they've been able to kind of stay on the court.
Yep.
So when it comes to, by the way, I'm picking the Nuggets to win tonight. Picking Denver to win. I think they go up 3-1, and then Suns will lose 4-1.
I mean, and said the Nuggets in 7, and then it seems like every time the Suns play, he picks them to lose.
Well, Z, the reason why is I don't trust the bench, and I don't trust DeAndre Ayton down there. So it's only so much you can do having Booker give you 35 and Durant give you 25 every night.
Damian Lee
and Chris Paul is out too, so I don't trust Cameron Payne.
Damian Lee.
There you go. Another failure. But sticking with the Lakers and Warriors, I don't know. Like it's kind of like a fun series, but it's like at the same time, like I feel like it's kind of similar to how the Lakers and who the Lakers just come off and beat the Kings. No, not the Kings.
Grizzlies.
It kind of has the same feel to me as it did the Lakers and Grizzlies because it's like one team, like it's going back and forth on who's winning each game, but like it's not like it's like blowouts.
Yeah.
It's like not really close. Like the Warriors blow out the Lakers in game 2. Lakers blow out the Warriors in game 3. Game 4, will the Warriors bounce back? Is it going to be a close game? Are the Lakers going to go up 3-1? Like, it just seems like how it's been. So, like, I'm intrigued, like, each time they play. But it seems like it's just back and forth and blowouts.
Yeah. I think this is – I really do think the NBA is loving this, like having LeBron versus Curry in a playoff series, having like everybody else still in the playoffs other than like Giannis. You got Kevin Durant, you got Tatum, you got Embiid. I mean, like, you got Jimmy Butler. I mean, like,
that one guy thinks out there, this is just terrible for business.
Yeah, it's just sad.
Yeah.
And I joke about this one guy,
whoever it was.
Whoever it was when the Suns went to the finals against the Bucks. Super fun watching the Suns. Obviously, like the remember like the NBA had the highest TV ratings for the playoffs that season. And I mean, like, you'd be foolish to say the Suns were not the biggest reason because of that. You know what I mean? And I remember like the Suns versus Bucks, and they have like, and the NBA has great ratings. And this guy's like, "Oh, this is terrible for the league. There's no LeBron. There's no Curry.
There's no
like,
Durant. There's
well,
no Kyrie.
Change it up.
There's no Warriors.
Yeah, we're in a new era.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been loving the NBA playoffs so far. I've been loving watching like every game. You know, I mean, you know, I'm very much also intrigued in this Miami and Knicks series. You know, the Knicks really kind of
Butler.
Yep, the Knicks really kind of pissed me off because like they have such a good, well-rounded team, and like they just don't play like it. You know what I mean?
No,
they're just so
RJ Barrett's a
inconsistent.
massive disappointment, Z.
Yeah.
He is. I like Julius Randle a lot. I think really anybody can say he's one of the most underrated players, but I think that he's over the last 2-3 years, he's kind of transcended himself as to one, maybe like, I don't know, you want to say a top 25 player?
Yeah.
I think that he has. I like Jalen Brunson too, but
nice.
The thing with the Heat, they're playing harder than any team in the playoffs right now. The Heat going into the playoffs, and Z is my witness. I was very concerned. Now, let me tell you this, so you guys can kind of have a little bit of background. I was a big Heat fan from probably 5th or 6th grade, probably throughout the end of high school.
So the LeBron days.
Yeah, the LeBron days. You're right. You're right. Growing up, huge Suns fan, but the Suns really kind of started to turn me off, but I still wanted them to do well. So then I just kind of went full out fledged with the Heat because they were kind of my secondary team. Because when I watched the 06 finals with like Wade and Shaq, not that like, I had a second favorite team during that time, but I liked watching them a lot. I liked Dwayne Wade. It's all right to like other players than the guys on your favorite team. It's okay. But then I'd say probably over the next couple years after that, the Heat kind of became that second team to me that I also like to follow. And then really once the Suns kind of started to turn me off and stuff like that, still wanted the Suns to do well. I didn't wish on their downfall like Al. Still wanted them to do well, but I just kind of stuck with the Heat. And that was before LeBron and them came, so I can say that. But then I kind of stuck with them, and then I just kind of started to lose interest in the NBA altogether. So I still want the Suns and Heat to do well. I still root for their success. But with that being said, with the Heat going into the playoffs, I said I don't really have much confidence in them at all. And the reason why is because they did not do anything at the trade deadline. I didn't really have much faith in whoever was playing aside Bam. The issues with Kyle Lowry, and I just didn't really the Heat going into the playoffs. They were not playing as a team that we see now. And I didn't have a lot of faith in them for those reasons. I had faith in Jimmy Butler, but other than that, I didn't really have much confidence in really a lot of the rest of the team. I had faith in Eric Spoelstra, but with where the Heat were at, probably a couple weeks out of the playoffs, I didn't really have much confidence in. We saw what they did against Milwaukee. Don't care about Giannis missing the first game and a half or whatever it was, 2 games. He played. Milwaukee had opportunity and they failed. Simple as that. Still disagree with them firing their coach. That's one thing about the NBA I will always disagree on is once they have like an NBA champion caliber of a coach, when they don't win the title a year or two after that, they can them. And I don't agree with that at all. Toronto, same thing. Like I think Nick Nurse isn't a bad coach. That's beside the point. What we're seeing with the Heat from the Bucks to the series with the Knicks is that not only is Jimmy Butler one of the best playoff performers of this decade, but we're seeing this team and this is without a Tyler Hero and a Victor Oladipo. We're seeing this Heat team play hard and play on all levels together. And they're not getting blown out in their games. The games they lose, they're not getting blown out, really. They're playing hard. A lot of these games are close. Games Miami wins. Some of them end up being close. Some of them, they just play a lot better and beat them by 10, 15 points. So with the Knicks, we're seeing kind of up and down in terms of them playing together. We're seeing up and down the sense of consistency. With the Heat, we're seeing stagnancy, and that's what you want as a team. They're playing hard together. Jimmy Butler's leading the way, but you're having other contributors. You're having Gabe Vincent being a contributor one night. Kyle Lowry was a contributor yesterday. Bam Adebayo has been a contributor. Max Strus is a contributor one night. And that's what you have. And that's something the Suns don't have. So it's not just Jimmy Butler needing to score 30, 35 points. It's you're having other guys, whether in your rotation or on your bench, giving you 14, 15, 16 points. And if they had Tyler Hero or Oladipo, that would be a lot better.
Yeah.
But we'll see how really, if the Heat win the series and they got to play the Sixers or Boston, I think the Heat can give them a competitive series.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. And that's without those two. Now, Tyler Hero can possibly come back if they get to the finals, or maybe toward the end of the conference finals if they get there, because he broke his hand. But the Heat, to me, has been the team that I've been impressed the most with this playoffs, that I think can honestly be a team. They were overlooked a lot going into the playoffs. They finished as an 8 seed. They lost the first game of the play-in, and no one really thought they were going to not just be in the second round, but be playing as well as they are. And that's how you want to be playing this time of the year. And I think the Heat can take on a team like the Sixers or Celtics, even without Oladipo or Tyler Hero. So Good on them. Good on what they're doing. And they've been fun to watch. I've honestly have watched every game of theirs. They've been very fun to watch. And Jimmy Butler's been very fun to watch, and kudos to him.
Yeah, no, they have. And I've been loving watching the Miami and Knicks series. I mean, it just kind of reminds me of Miami when they were at the bubble, like how long just till the gas runs out, you know?
Yeah. That's kind of the main question, because like Jimmy, I think you can count on almost every night to play hard and give you really hard minutes and lay everything out on the floor. But you need more than that. So that's the thing. Can Bam give you consistency the rest of the way? Can some of the guys on the bench give you some consistency, right? So that's kind of probably the main thing. But you got to give a lot of credit to them, man. They're playing a lot better than probably almost everybody thought. And I think they've been playing the best basketball in all the playoffs.
Yeah, no, you do. And I think you couldn't really ask for, a better really second round with all the players and teams that are going against each other, just because they're all close series. And, if the Suns tied tonight, it'll be 2-2, Sixers Celtics 2-2. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks win game 4. I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors win game 4.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what really intrigues me with the Heat is, and the reason why I think they're doing so well, because of like all the super young guys they have, and doesn't like Caleb Martin and doesn't like Max Strus.
Strus, I really don't mind as a role player. I'm just not sold on him as a guy that you want in your starting lineup.
Yeah, I just think all the veteran presence that they have, not only with their head coach at Spoelstra, but with like Kyle Lowry, who's won a championship, Kevin Love, who's won a championship.
Yeah, Kevin Love I forgot about as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, if you put Kevin Love, guarding Jason Tatum or something, just forget about it. Jesus. No, Kevin Love. Yeah, or Durant.
Or Jokic. Bam would guard Jokic, but still, you get the point.
I mean, that's another side to it is, it just kind of like, like the athletic ability of the Heat, how long can they go? Like, can they just, and like the thing is, like, I hate that kind of question, because I hate seeing people say like, oh, LeBron or AD will get hurt, or like KD, Devin Booker played too many minutes. Like, I feel like those athletes just don't care about that. They don't think about being tired.
At the end of the day, they've still done this stuff at the end of the day for however many months in the whole entire season. Yeah. And some of it can be like concern in the sense of like, we know how often Anthony Davis is on the sideline. We know that. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of something like it can be a concern, but like you don't want to just make that assumption necessarily. So with the Heat, it's like, can some of these veteran guys continue to keep it going? Can they keep getting some productive minutes from some of these role players that they got on their team? Time will tell. But I think if you're a Heat fan, you should be encouraged. And I think that out of every team, man, there's something that, look, and I've been saying this with the NBA. So, one of the big things with the NBA for quite a while is the lack of I'm not saying this for every player in the league, but you can watch games and just see lack of defense, lack of heart, lack of care from certain players around the league. With the Heat, I don't see that from one single player. Everybody's all in. Everybody's playing for each other. With the Knicks, I feel like you have a couple guys that it's like, okay, what are we watching here?
Yeah.
Do you care? Like, is there drive here?
Mm-hmm. Thibodeau.
Just look at the hair. He's looked the same the last 15 years. So, and DeAndre Ayton, another example.
I mean, he's the prime example.
Prime example of it.
You know, I mean, the fact that you got, you know, like LeBron's play he made yesterday, like sprinting down the court to stop the Warriors' fast break. I mean, is truly
where's the younger guys doing that?
Yeah, it's truly the heart of a champion. You know, so, you know, I mean, Ed and I are definitely going to bring out another video on, you know, on the NBA playoffs. Maybe we'll release it when the finals are set.
Yeah, close to it maybe.
And, you know, again, let us know what you guys think of the NBA playoffs. Who you might think is going to be in it. Who you think is going to win it. You know,
I think the only reason why I like to see the Knicks get there is just the atmosphere. I think Madison Square Garden would be so sick.
100%.
Because they haven't. When's the last time they've been in the finals? When freaking Pat Riley was the coach.
Yeah, I mean, I would just hate to see the Warriors and Celtics again.
Oh, it'd be miserable, and I don't think we will.
I mean, I don't think
I'd be all for, like, if you could come up with the scenarios, like the best final scenarios, like if you can think of 3 matchups that would make for a really good NBA Finals. I'll start. I think Knicks Lakers would be sick.
Mm-hmm.
MSG, the atmosphere, LeBron in the Garden, right? I think that'd be pretty cool. I think Lakers Heat would be kind of cool again. I know that was the bubble, but LeBron facing the Heat, right? I think both teams kind of match up fairly well. And I don't know what it is with Denver. To me, they're just like, I respect them, and I respect Jokic as a player, even though Z and I kind of have our little issues there with him. But Z, do you agree that you just feel like Denver's a little boring?
Yeah, they kind of are.
I like Jamal Murray. Like, I think he can be fun to watch sometimes, but I just feel like they're a little boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you think of Denver in the finals, like, all right, it's great to have a new team in there. But when you think of the other matchups, I think there's just more that would be more exciting.
Right.
I think another one maybe that would be fun would be Suns Sixers.
Yep.
I think that could maybe be a fun one. Harden, Durant, both teams. Yep. I think you got Maxey, Embiid, some of those guys. Don't really care to see the Celtics. Would hate to see the Warriors there. That would be miserable.
It's good. It's good for the league to have another rematch. You know, that's all we want to see is rematch after rematch.
Yep.
How
miserable was it with the Cavs and Warriors all those years, Z?
And that had to be the lowest point in the NBA.
It had to be. It had to be. The first 2 years, okay, right? Warriors win. LeBron brings the Cavs a championship, and that was a good series. The Cavs coming back. But then the next 2, when Durant joins and they sweep Cleveland, and then they win in 5 games or whatever it was, just an absolute sleep fest.
That was terrible.
It was terrible. And not just that the championship was bad for the league, like that finals, both those finals, but the whole season, all the teams, the trajectory of the teams, how predictable was it year after year after year?
Right. Yeah.
There were no teams in the East or the West competing with the Cavs or Warriors. And it was just like you had some good teams here or like solid teams, but they weren't going to compete up here.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think
it was a terrible low point for the NBA.
I think it was terrible. And I don't know how you even how's your marketing team make people interested in watching the Cavs or Warriors for the 18th straight year?
Yeah.
You know?
But it was terrible.
But yeah, again, let us know what you guys think. You know, what would be an ideal matchup for you guys to see.
Yeah, let us know in the comment section. Who you guys want to see win the finals or certain finals matches? What have your guys thoughts been about the playoffs? Dude, I honestly feel like when the Raptors won in 2019, that was the catalyst to the NBA getting back to where it needed to be.
100%.
The Raptors winning the finals in 2019 was fantastic.
100%.
It was fantastic all around. And my big gripe, Z, sorry to cut you off here, and you know, one of the top biggest gripes that I've had with the NBA before 2020 was you didn't really have, other than LeBron, Durant, Kawhi during that time, really, Curry, like there were really no new other guys transitioning into the league yet. And it was just same old year after year. There was no balance of the conferences. Everything was predictable. There was no unpredictability. When Z and I grew up, the West was, you could win 48 games in the West, and you're finishing as the 10th seed. You're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
So with I'd say over the last 3 years in the NBA's gotten back to having balance in both conferences and actually all teams kind of being on a similar playing level. And you've had some of these other younger guys start transitioning into stars in the NBA, which is good. And I'll never find myself as being the NBA guy I used to be, but the NBA is in a better spot than where it was in the mid to the 2010s.
100%.
There's no question about it.
So, I'm still holding out hope for this. This is the year we finally see a championship in Phoenix, but it all starts tonight with Game 4.
Well, if the Suns lose this round, or if the Suns don't make the finals at all, I think what I would do, you trade Ayton, you get him off the books, you bring in some defense, you bring in a forward that can, and it depends with Chris Paul, but I'm just going to assume he comes back. You bring in a couple guys off your bench that if you don't have Durant there, if Durant gets injured or something like that, because we know he's been prone to injury, guys that can come and step in and help out a little bit. Yeah. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Bring in some defense, bring in rim protection, bring in a couple guys off the bench that are productive bench players for you. And if there's an injury with Durant, or maybe you can bring in a number 4 type guy that can maybe be a third scoring option for you, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we'll just bring back Torrey Craig. We'll bring back Josh Okogie. We'll just keep them in the lineup. We might as well bring Jay Crowder back. Terrible.
Oh, it's awful.
Cameron Payne.
James Jones.
James Jones. And I kind of like him, but come on.
Yeah. Well, I will be I'll be streaming tonight. Maybe Ann will be joining me. It depends on what I will be streaming.
Well, see, the game starts at 8:30, so when are you going to be streaming?
Oh, yeah. Well, looks like it's going to be a late stream.
Yeah, late stream. Guess we'll be streaming 2K night, Z.
Yeah, sounds kind of sounds right. The Suns game comes first.
What would you say Dead by Daylight gets uninstalled now?
I'm going to say no.
You're going to keep it around for a little bit.
I'll keep it around for now.
Yeah.
But you know, we're gonna finish this under an hour because we're right on time. You know, and I'm going to finish it on one quote. And it's guys, you don't lose by getting knocked down. You lose by staying down. So get up, have a great week. You guys will probably see this on Monday. Have a great week.
Yes, they will.
Once you guys are seeing this, hopefully I'll be playing flag football. Yeah. I won't be injured, and the game will be canceled because it's too sunny outside.
Yeah.
So, and say whatever you need to say, but we love you guys.
Yep.
We'll get a win tomorrow for you guys. You guys be safe and healthy, and just remember, and you're loved.
Yeah. Well, Z, it's appreciated because I can't remember the last time you told me that. Well, again, shout out to all you guys who tune into our shows, even if it's for a few minutes, those who like and everything like that. We appreciate it. We're only a few subscribers away from 60. Z and I want to get to the point. We want to get to the point where we can start having some people on from time to time, where we can start going live at certain points and get you guys involved. So for those who regularly tune in, thank you. For those who are new to the channel, welcome. You kind of know what we do here, and that's exactly what we do here. Z, why don't you just turn your head a little bit toward the camera? Yeah. Well, I guess that's how Z's gonna edit there. So, but we appreciate you guys.